Okay, first of all, I just want to say thank you very much for clicking on this video. My name is Orlando Ruiz Jr., and this time around I want to talk about a film titled The Lost Weekend. This movie was released way back in 1945 and was directed by the late great Billy Wilder. This director is responsible for many cinematic gems. To name a few: Sunset Boulevard, Double Indemnity, one of my personal favorites, It's a Wonderful Life, Some Like It Hot, The Apartment, that's just a small handful. Uh, Sabrina, the original Sabrina with Humphrey Bogart, William Holden, Audrey Hepburn, not the Harrison Ford remake from the 90s. Um, so this guy is a master. He's made some great films, and The Lost Weekend is definitely up there. This is a four-star classic uh, that stars Ray Milland. I'm not too familiar with many of his movies, but I do remember him from an Alfred Hitchcock thriller, Dial M for Murder. Great movie. Highly recommend that one. In this film, he plays a man that is basically at the end of his rope in alcoholism. He's in pits of despair, just low, low, low points. Everybody's like giving up on him. He has people in his life that care about him, a best friend, and there's a woman that he loves, and she's constantly there for him. And his friend and his girl are constantly being let down by the main character. And he's a very likable guy. He plays them just like an everyman. So it's really cool because it's kind of like seeing a buddy, a friend. Like everybody knows a guy like this, and he's a very friendly guy. He's charming. Ray Milland plays him just like a regular guy, but he has this this problem that affects him and those around him, and it feels very authentic in that regard, and the lengths they go through to portray his kind of uh, dark descent. It's really great what they do with uh, the angles, the camera, the shadows, the lighting, the way they move it around, and they have like shadows moving on the walls. You see at one point, I think they're depicting DTs, and he sees pink elephants on the walls, and he's like screaming and just going through hell, basically. And he has these moments where he's in his apartment trying to find just anything to drink. He hides bottles all around the room, in different rooms, different spots, trying to just find a drop. And it's really kind of sad. You're rooting for this guy to better himself, make a good choice all throughout this movie. And in that regard, it kind of reminds me of um, Uncut Gems in a way. Just how many times Adam Sandler's character had many chances to better his situation in that movie, but just kept making the wrong decision, the worst possible decision over and over and over again. This is kind of like that in that respect. This guy just cannot get out of his hole or climb out. It just keeps getting worse, and it gets deeper and deeper into it. And by the time this movie's over, he's got to make that choice that many people in real life that go through this have to make, which is, do I quit and get better, or do I just get worse and end it all? And this is one that stays with you. It definitely stayed with me to the point where I talked so much about it with my cousin and got him to watch it with me, and my buddy in high school got him to watch it with me. And these are cats that never watched anything like this at all, weren't into anything black and white or anything that was older than like the 80s and 90s. And I think now my cousin watches this kind of stuff on a regular basis, which is really cool. And uh, this uh, this subject matter, I know it can be kind of touchy for some people, but it's done in a very tasteful way. You know, back then they were very careful with the way they depicted this kind of stuff, and uh, in the hands of any other director, I'm sure it would have been a lot more fluffier, a lot more lighter. But Billy Wilder was one of the masters in his time, and this movie is great. I'm sure, you know, because of many people behind it, you know, like the writers and the editor and everything. But, you know, I think one of the main reasons is because Billy Wilder was behind that camera. I mean, he moves the camera in a way that just feels so natural from scene to scene. And it's really cool because, you know, this is a 40s movie and he's doing things with the camera that feel uh, very kind of modern. And all this stuff was experimental back then. And it's marvelous to to see unfold in front of your eyes. Um, Marvelous, not a word I use that often. Uh, but yeah, so uh, highly recommend this film. If anybody is into classic movies, sort of noirish type of movies, this has a noirish type of feel. Uh, Ray Milland is great in it. Um, his performance is so good. In fact, the way he depicts an alcoholic, that it kind of even reminds me of how great Nicolas Cage was, the extent that he went through in leaving Las Vegas to showcase that kind of condition. You know, Ray Milland pretty much puts it all out there as well in that way. You know, there's parts where he's just like screaming, you know, and like like the cold sweats and you know, it's sometimes it's tough to watch because you know, like I said, you're rooting for this guy. He's so likable, and you know, it just like I said feels real, and that is great when you're watching a movie, especially one this old, and it can be this effective even in times like these, current modern times, you know, and that's just a testament to great filmmaking. Goes to show, doesn't matter how old a film can be, if it's made in a certain way, it's it's gonna probably stick around and last through the ages like this one. I found this one back in the day by accident, but when I started collecting, I got my hands on it, and I now own. I back in the day I owned the VHS, but I have the DVD now. So this is my copy. Um, that's Ray Milan on the cover. Uh, but yeah, this was you know, I'm not really into putting stock on movies that win awards. Doesn't really matter to me that they won awards. But as you saw on the cover there, you know, winner of 4 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. So, um, you know, not every time out of the gate, you know, a movie that wins all these awards is going to be for everyone. But sometimes there's a reason why these movies got the recognition that they got. And in the case of The Lost Weekend, I think it was merited, well deserved, and I hope many people find their way to this movie. It's one that I go back to every now and again just to remind me how much I love movies to begin with. It's made that well, with that much love, and you can tell when you watch it. You know, some directors they put it all up there on the screen, and Billy Wilder was definitely one of those directors. I believe he belongs up there with Scorsese and Spielberg and Tarantino, you know, John Singleton, you know, Spike Lee, you know, all the greats. Um, you know, there's so many great directors, you know, Hitchcock and Brian De Palma. And uh, Billy Wilder's name goes goes with that list of greats. And I want to talk about more of his movies. I definitely want to talk about Double Indemnity. I freaking love Double Indemnity. Um, Fred MacMurray. I don't know if anybody ever watched my three sons. Very old show, but yeah, Fred MacMurray is awesome. So we'll get to Fred MacMurray at a another time. So until then, I just want to say if anybody's into this kind of thing, I'm gonna keep churning these out because when I'm not raising a family and trying to watch as much stuff as possible myself, uh, I'm gonna be doing some more of these reviews and talking about more of these classics and just trying to shed some light on these movies that I don't hear anybody talk about really hardly ever. And you know, to me that's kind of a sad thing. So my doing this is a way of turning a sad thing into a happy thing, you know. And if more people can make their way to these classics, then I would have done my job, and the world might be all the better for it. I don't know. Maybe that's a stretch. I don't know. But either way, thank you for watching this. And if you're interested, please be sure to subscribe and get more of these coming your way because they're going to come pretty quick, rapid fire, just one after another. Uh, please comment. And if you like, go ahead. If not, don't. It's all good. And if you want to share, it's all good too. I'm sure I will be very happy about that because this is just the beginning stages here, and uh, you know, all the help I can get, I'm gonna be grateful to you, and I just appreciate you checking me out for a little bit, talking movies. Uh, if you're somebody that I know, I'll see you at work. So I'll see you at work if you watch this. If you're a family member, give you a ring later on. Take it easy. God bless.